Shalom, Apostle Talk, coming back at you with the truth, giving all praise to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua B'Shem Rakakodash. And I'm going to entitle this video, The Hour of Temptation is Almost Here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the scripture in Revelation, the 3rd chapter. Revelation, the 3rd chapter and the 10th verse on down. I'm going to read to about the 12th verse. You know what? Let me... Which, I'm going to start at the 7th verse. I'm going to start at the 6th verse. Start the 6th verse. I damn near want to go to the 1st verse, but I'm going to start at the 6th verse. And this is a scripture that Apostle Orion Lab had read in a video that he had did earlier concerning this situation with the whole rape thing and Tazariak, or Captain Tazariak, that's his title. And I haven't really been involved in it because my spirit ain't really even dealing with it now, but because this is something that happened when we spoke about this with Brother Polite. This was back in 2013, so all of a sudden it's coming back up again. Now, we had did videos, we had explained it, we had made it crystal clear, we had broke it down, what we do and what we don't do, and this is what it means, and this is what they did in the ancient world, and we don't do that. So why would I do that and then brag about it? That's stupidity. That's the meaning of the word stupidity. It's like a guy that robs a bank, then he goes around the hood and he brags about it. Yeah, that's me. I did that. And then he wonders why he gets hemmed up. Now, I'm not going to say something that's completely against the law of this man's system. In this man's system, you have laws. So there's laws that you can't keep according to the scripture because of Esau's laws. The Apostle Paul said, all things are expedient. All things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. In other words, you have laws, but there's certain things you can't, you just can't do in this man's system. You couldn't do it in the Babylonian system or any other system that we were under. You know, the Roman Empire. You know, whatever system we were under, we had to deal with their laws to a certain degree, and we were allowed to keep our laws. But there were laws that superseded our laws. Like in this society, you can't go around and kill somebody, a man that lays with another man. You can't fulfill that law. You can't do that. You get locked up under the jail. Dealing with a so-called underage girl, you can't deal with a girl, an underage girl. Hey, there's laws with Esau where you can't marry more than one woman. That's the law of polygamy. So if you openly go in this world and go and actually marry 5 women, Esau could arrest you for that. So there's certain things that we could do pursuant to the law, and there's certain things we can't do. So it'd be stupid, and it'll be a lunacy if we did something like that. Anyway, like I said, we explained it. We went through the scriptures. If you want to, stay in your emotions. See this when you come into this thing, thank the Most High that Abraham wasn't super emotional. Because when our Lord Yahweh told Abraham to sacrifice your beloved son Isaac, he went ahead and did it. He said, no problem. And the Most High had the angel of the Lord come down and pull him back, and he said, don't do it. I just wanted to test your faith. Because he had Isaac, him and Sarah had Isaac at a very old age when you go and read the account. Now the reason why that happened was that was a typified what the Most High was going to do to his son, which is Isaac. The Most High said, okay, Abraham, kill your son Isaac. And he went ahead and did it. But later in history, the Most High actually killed his beloved son, which is Yahushua, which is Isaac. It said he was slain from the foundation of the earth, so it was already written on the wall, so to speak. See, there's a lot of things in these scriptures that brothers just don't understand. You know, it was said of John, I didn't even want to go into this topic. I wanted to get in this topic now, but I'm kind of veering off into another topic that I wanted to even get into. But when John received the book, it said, as a matter of fact, let me do it this way. Okay. When John received the book from the angel in Revelation 10 chapter, it said, Revelation 10 verse 9, and I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book, which represents the scriptures. See, now you got brothers, they got the book in a smartphone. You ever watch the camps? Brothers say, get me the scripture, get me that, hold this on deck, get that. And you see a guy with a smartphone, you know, reading the scriptures. And there's one guy, I don't know if he's Portuguese or whatever, older Edomite dude. He said, that's not the Bible. You're reading that on the phone. That's not. I said, and then we were trying to explain to the dude that it is the Bible because it's the words. It's not. It doesn't have to be on paper. We're reading the actual words. So anyway, it says, and I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. So the little book is small, so small, you can have the whole book in a smartphone. You got an app. There's an app of the King James where you can actually listen to the scriptures being read. We have the blue letter in the smartphone. You got an app for that. You got concordance in your smartphone. So you don't need to carry around a big book bag of books. It says, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it and eat it up. That's the same thing that he told Ezekiel in Ezekiel 3rd chapter. And go to Ezekiel 2nd chapter and the 3rd chapter. He said, eat the whole roll. And it means to digest the book in your spirit, in your mind, by studying the book. And eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. Because a lot of brothers and even sisters that came through this thing through the years, we're talking about when we first went on YouTube back in 2007, July of 2007, then you had other camps come in, and that's where the masses came into Israel through the YouTube, through the web, and it was sweet to their mouth. It was sweet. There are a lot of them, and I would say 98% of our people that came to this truth, they were once a part of one form of Christianity or another. So when they heard this word and it was good, it tasted good to them, they got into it, and they were happy that they were into it. And then through the years, you had situations where guys fall off. Why? Because it became bitter. There was certain, they might have came into this thing, and then they might have had the class where, you know, if you're an Edomite, there's no way you're going to make it, but your mother's an Edomite, you know, or your grandmama's an Edomite, you know, on your mother's side. And you really love your Edomite grandmother or your mother. You know, your father could have left you, and you could have been raised under your Edomite mother, and your Edomite mother showed you nothing but love. And then you might, so guys that get emotional on that because they'll try to figure out a way to get their mom in the kingdom. But if your mom is an Edomite, your mom is going into slavery, man. She don't got to be your slave. She can be my slave. But she going into slavery if she's an Edomite. So guys fall off because they can't. We had this one brother that fell off, and the brother was diligent out of Dallas. Brother came to New York, cool brother, and he just stopped coming around, and his excuse was, well, how did he say it? He said I can't do this to my heathen friends, because he had some heathen friends, and he had an attachment to his heathen friends, and he got emotional about it, and he basically left. He said because he can't. He said he had some good heathen friends. He had some good heathen friends, and we all had good heathen friends. But when we came to this truth, our attitude was like, "Fuck you, man." That's our attitude. You're a fucking heathen, you know. And there's one guy I knew was an Edomite. He saw me speaking, and this I was young. I mean, now to talk to him and everything, explain myself. But when I was young, in the truth, I was in the camp, and he came up, and I looked at him like he had 3 fucking heads. I'm like, who the fuck are you? He said, why you doing this? You're not, that's not how you. We were friends. And I just kind of gave him that look, and like, yeah, get the fuck out of here, man. But later on, years later, I ran into him. I talked to him and explained myself. But I had to cut. One of the main things you got to do. You know, I'm not talking about friends. I'm talking about people that you grow up with, that you were cool with, and some of them were heathens. So you had to cut them damn heathens off, and then you had to cut off. What is that? 2 Peter the 4th chapter. You know, when you used to go out clubbing and you had people in the world that you were cool with, and then when you came to the truth, you knew that they wasn't going to get it, and then you basically slowly or quickly break off from them. Well, that's the emotion. Well, some guys get emotionally attached with these fucking heathens, man. They might have a heathen wife, and they'll refuse to make this woman a concubine. They'll say she's gonna be my wife. We got married. We went to City Hall. We got married and shit. We got kids together. She ain't gonna be my concubine. She gonna be my wife. And that's why guys fall off. Emotions. Okay, you can't be emotional when you come into this truth. Anyway, it says. It speaks about the little book. Take the little book and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey. When do you get the benefit of food? Not when you're tasting it, because most food that tastes good is bad for you. You know, I'll make like a green smoothie, and I'll put damn near like 20 different ingredients in there, man. You know, but I'll put honey. I'll put natural, organic honey in it, and it tastes sweet. But the benefit of it is when it goes into my system, because it's medicine for me. So this medicine that we get when we go into these scriptures, it tastes good. You feel good about yourself. You know, you're out there, you're wearing the garments, this, that, and third. But then you think about your heathen friends or your Edomite wife or your Edomite moms or your Edomite grandmother, and you know that your grandmother, that she was so good to you. She got you that train set, Christmas, and she just always went out of her way to do good. So you can't picture in your mind that my grandmother is going into slavery. Well, that's the bitter part. Are you gonna stay in this thing even when the bitter comes? Hey, when we brought out the situation when Brother Polite came up and about the rape thing, and we broke it down and we explained it. Then we did videos behind that. But guess what? Emotions overruled. That's why you guys are not noble. Like the Church of Berea. The Church of Berea was not emotional. They studied. They checked everything out, whether these things were so. So the Apostle Paul said that the Church of Berea was more noble than the Church of Thessalonica, because they searched these things daily to see if these things were so. So now let's read on. Revelation 10 verse 10. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand and I ate it up, and it was in my mouth sweet as honey. It tastes good, and as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. Now let's see what the word bitter means. Let's get the word bitter. The word is pikrino, which means to make bitter, to produce a bitter taste in the stomach. When the food goes into your stomach, it goes into your system, and that's where you get the benefits of the food. That's why you eat food, to get the benefits and the nutrients from the vital nutrients from the food. To embitter, but this bitter in the stomach is really bitter in your mind, in your attitude. To embitter, exasperate. Now, if you look up the word exasperate, I did look it up. Let me see if it's still there. Verse 10. Revelation 3 verse 10. Somehow I lost it. Let me get it back. Damn, what happened to it? I'm sorry, 10 verse 10. Where the hell am I? Verse 10. I was on the wrong tab, excuse me. It says to make bitter, to produce a bitter taste in the mouth, to embitter, exasperate. Now I wanted to look up the word exasperate. Bear with me for a minute. Exasperate, irritate, and frustrate. That's a state of mentality. Irritate, frustrate, intensely, you have the words infuriate, incense, anger, annoy. You lose sleep over it when you're annoyed, bittered, irritate, maddened, enraged. I'm going to give you an example. To exasperate someone is to annoy him or her to the point of impatience, frustration, and irritation, like when you exasperate a busy waiter by asking questions like, what are all the ingredients in the salad dressing? And if this guy is busy, he's like, what the fuck? Yo, man, what the fuck? Why don't you fucking go? And making him repeat the specials 5 times. He's hoping you never come back to the restaurant. Then on top of that, you don't give him a tip. So that's what these men are going through, man. They're getting they're eating they ate the book. It's sweet as honey in your mouth, but when you digest it, it's bitter. It's bitter. It says, goes on to say, to render angry, indigent, to be embittered, irritated. You got motherfuckers losing sleep over this topic. To visit with bitterness, to grieve, deal bitterly with. Okay, now I want to get into my subject. I want to go to, that was like a little side subject, but anyway, it says here, I'm going to go to the 9th verse, Revelation 3 verse 9. Behold, I make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they're Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and know that I loved thee. 10th verse, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. Now the hour of temptation is when they present that mark, the mark of the beast, which is the microchip, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. That's going to be a test. It says, 11th verse, behold, I come quickly, hold that fast. Fast meaning fasten, the hold tight, which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. And what do you hold? This truth that you have, that you digested, and it tasted sweet in your mouth, and it was bitter in your belly, and you dealt with the bitterness. Like Apostle Ramla got me a bottle of, this is my second bottle of liquid magnesium, and that's some bitter, nasty. And he told me, he said, when you eat it, when you take it in your mouth, it's going to be bitter and nasty. And I knew it was going to be bitter and nasty, and I tasted it, and it's bitter and nasty in my mouth, but I take it anyway. And that's it. I do it. If I do it every day, I do it every day. The same thing with black cumin seed oil. That's a very bitter taste. It doesn't taste good, but it's good for you. The benefits is when you digest it, but it's bitter in your mouth, and it's bitter in your belly. What the scriptures is sweet in your mouth and bitter in your belly. So it says, behold, 11th verse, behold, I come quickly, hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my power, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my power, and the name of the city of my power, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from the Most High, my power, and I will write upon him my new name. He 13th verse. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. If you have an ear, if you don't have an ear, you're not going to get this whole thing, man. And you're gonna be exasperated by it. You're gonna be made bitter by it. And some, like I said, some of you have fallen off because there were certain things that you couldn't deal with the bitter part. So now, I said that the hour of temptation is the mark of the beast, right? Well, this is something that a brother sent me, put in the comment section. It says government unveils new electronic tags for people under Wuhan coronavirus home quarantine. And I'll read it. It says the government's chief information officer, Victor Lam. If he's Chinese, why was his name be Victor? Victor Lam shows off a new electronic tag that will be given to the people under home quarantine as the Wuhan coronavirus fears continue to grip the city. It goes on to say the Hong Kong government has announced it has. Now this is not the city of Wuhan. This is Hong Kong, which is several miles away from Wuhan. I don't know exactly how many hundreds of miles away. This is all of, the pictures. The pictures coming together of these pieces of the puzzle. This is coming together. It says the Hong Kong government has announced it has 500 electronic monitoring tags. You can see the picture there, and he's showing the tag. And by the way, it's on his right hand. Ready to distribute to Hong Kong people placed under home quarantine upon returning to the SAR after having spent time in Hubei province, the epicenter of the ongoing coronavirus. And I guess Wuhan is a city in the Hubei province. It says outbreak. And I watched the movie last week, the movie Contagion. Basically, what's happening over there in Japan is basically they took the script from Contagion and they're using that script. If this thing is a setup thing. It said the government's chief information officer, Victor Lam, unveiled the e-tag at a press briefing this afternoon, saying that any Hong Kong resident who has been to the Hubei province in the past 14 days, because they're saying that the virus has a 14-day incubation period. So after 14 days, if you show no symptoms, then you're all right, according to what they're saying. 14 days must undergo home quarantine of 14 days. Measured the new electronic bracelets were meant to ensure the tag is paired to a person's smartphone using Bluetooth Low Energy or BLE technology and is plugged into the mains at the wearer's home. So you got to be home. You got to have this tag on you, and that tag will be read by your smartphone. And if you leave the house or if you take the tag off, they know that you did that. It says if the person wearing the tag unplugs the phone and leaves the quarantine zone with it, or if the distance between the tag and the phone exceeds 20 meters, an alert will be sent to the Department of Health and the police. The authorities will also get an alert of the tag if the tag is broken or removed. Anyone who violates the home quarantine order faces up to 6 months in jail and a fine of HQ, which means Hong Kong, $5,000, which is US $644. I'm surprised they didn't say it was $666. It would have made it too obvious. Somebody probably said, well, yeah, let's fine them $666. No, because it'd be too obvious. Anyway, you have a video. I didn't get a chance to see the video. You know what? Let me read a little bit more. It said, Lamb added, and if I remember, I'll leave the link in the description box. It said, Lamb added that because of concerns about personal privacy, the E-tag will not collect any personal data, not yet, and the tags aren't equipped with GPS. But when you get that chip, it's going to have your personal information, it's going to have your bank information, it's going to have your medical information, all your information, and it's going to be a GPS. And yes, you can buy Lamb with it. When asked by the reporters, how will they be able to find anyone who absconds, Lamb said they will first try calling the person on their phone. So that's monitoring them, the people. But ultimately, you know, you can take the tag off and put on somebody else or do this and play with it. So ultimately what they're going to do is they're going to say, put a chip in. That way you can't pull a chip out. For you guys that teach that, oh, take the chip, and when the missiles come, you pull the chip right out. The reason why they're putting the chip in you is so you can't get it out. Unless you're a goddamn, unless you got your buddy, your best buddy is a surgeon, and he's able to pull that shit out in record time. Look, let me say this in closing. You guys, you Israelites out there, you different camps that's teaching something other than the mark of the beast being a microchip. When that thing really is presented to you, which is the hour of temptation, a lot of you guys are gonna bug out, man. A lot of you are gonna bug out. You're gonna go to your leaders for answers, and they're not gonna have the answers for you, man. Anyway, with that, I'm gonna say shalom, and it's on to the next one. Shalom.